All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to give you a little extra practice today with understanding slope-intercept form graphing. So, a couple key bits of information. Slope-intercept form, remember, is y equals mx plus b. Now, the b is your y-intercept, the b value. It's supposed to be plus b though, so if it ever says minus something, then your intercept is a negative value. Okay, so this again is your starting point. This -1 is where it crosses the y-axis. So if we come over here, I know that it's going to cross the y-axis right here at -1. This line is. So whatever that value is right there, that y-intercept, that is your starting point when you're given slope-intercept form. Okay, so the x value is 0. Since it's where it crosses the y-axis, you're not going left or right. You're just going to go down 1 unit. So this gives us our starting point. And then the m value, this m value right here, is actually your slope, which in this case is -1/4. Okay, -1/4, that is actually your rise over run would be -1/4. So I could say, well, my rise is -1 and my run is 4. So this means go down 1 and 4 to the right. Or you could flip it around and you could say, well, I'm going to go up 1 and 4 to the left. So you can move that negative sign around to help you with it. It's still going to make a straight line. So let's try the first one. If it's -1/4, we're going to rise -1, which means go down 1. Okay, so I'm going to go down 1, and then I'm going to run 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my dot right around this area. And just the opposite, if I move that negative sign down to this value, now I'm going to go up 1, I'm going to go 4 to the left. So I'm going to go up 1, which is going to be around or right on the origin now, and then I'm going to go 4 to the left and end up right there. Then you can connect your dots to make your graph or whatever. So I can try my best. Let's see, I'm going to go up 1 over 4 more, so somewhere like this. There we go. And that's what the line's going to look like. My dots were not perfect by any means, but we're going to do another practice one because I really want you to understand this, to do well, and to be able to come into 8th grade fully prepared to answer problems such as these. So, okay, so we made a couple changes here. Now notice it says y equals 2x plus 5. So again, think of that slope-intercept form of y equals mx plus b. mx plus b. Again, your b value is your y-intercept. So that means that this 5 represents where it's going to cross the y-axis, where this line crosses it. So I'm going to go to 0, 5. Again, it's not going left or right, it's on the y-axis. That's why the x value in your ordered pair is 0 and the y value is 5. So my starting point is 0, 5. Now I have my slope of 2. Remember, the slope is the m value. It's actually the coefficient in this variable term. So 2x is your variable term, and 2 is the coefficient, the known factor in a variable term. We simply write that 2 as an improper fraction, and then we have to recognize that the top is the rise and the bottom is the run. So I'm going to rise 2, so I'm going to go up 2 and I'm going to run 1 to the right. Up 2, 1 to the right. And this is how I'm creating my points. Now I only need 2 points to make a straight line. If I want to do just the opposite here, then I can say, well, a negative divided by a negative is still going to give me a positive 2. So now this just represents going down 2 and left 1. So again, down 2, left 1, down 2, left 1. Okay? And then we just connect our dots with a straight line, and we just graphed, when given slope-intercept form, we graphed it by using the point and the slope to graph it. Let's try one more. All right, so here we have one more, and I made this one just a little bit more complex or complicated. We still have, again, slope-intercept form. We have y equals mx, and that's a variable term there, plus b. Okay. Again, very important to recognize this b value, this y-intercept, is where it crosses the y-axis. So that's your starting point. So our starting point's actually going to be 3 on the y-axis, which is 0, 3 as my starting point. My slope then, my m value, again, the coefficient in this variable term, is going to be negative 1 1/4. Now, this is the tricky part about it. Since the slope is negative 1 1/4, some of you might be thinking, how do I do rise over run? Well, we convert this mixed number into an improper fraction. And now we can see that we have a rise of 5 and a run of 4. But where does the negative sign go? Well, I can make it with the 5, or I can make it with the 4. It's up to you. If I put it up here, my rise is now negative 5, which means I'm actually going to go down. So I'm going to go down 5, and then my run would be 4. A positive 4 means I'm going to go to the right 4, and I have a dot right here. Okay, and if you're thinking back when we learned negative slope, you know that negative slope is angled in this type of a direction, so that is correct. We could do it again. I could go down 5 more and then over 4 more, or I could go back to my starting point. I'm going to move that negative sign down here with the 4, and now I can recognize that I'm actually going to go up 5 because my rise is now a positive value. So I'm going to go all the way up to 8, and I'm going to go negative 4, or to the left 4 for my run. 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's my other dot. Again, it only takes 2 dots to make a graph, but sometimes having 3 can just help make your graph a little bit better. So we connect those dots with a straight line, and it's going to look, something like, not sure why that line's not connecting properly. It's going to look something like this. Okay. Again, you have your starting point, your y-intercept, 0, 3. I don't know why I have a 5 here. That should say 3. 0, 3. And then you've got your slope right here. I hope that helped you out. See ya.